عندك واصل شوف الخيام
What I do think is clear is that the idea that you could have a regime that is so brutal and so authoritarian simply continue to rule Syria without any consequence in terms of responses from the ground indefinitely, I think is farcical. And if we want a sustainable solution in Syria, then it has to take into account the legitimate aspirations of all the components of Syrian society.
It's 8 a.m. by the clock.
Hi, this is Pallavi. It's time for the Breakfast Club.
But wait, what are we doing here? Where are the anchors? Why are we doing their job?
Hello!
Thank you for doing our jobs, by the way.
So Toya, we're again outdoors this time around. What are we up to?
We're going to learn how to play pickleball. I'm very scared, but we're hopefully going to get some guidance on how to do this. Why pickleball though?
Because it's the fastest growing sport in the world, also in India. So today's episode is going to be all about why the world is in a tickle with pickleball.
So we're here right now with the friendship that actually happened on the court. Sheena, Rohil, thank you for telling us a little bit about how long you've been doing this. Rohil, you first.
Yes, I've been playing for a month now, and we in fact met here through this community group. So we were looking for players, and then I think once she had written that I'm looking for a player, then we started playing, and now I think it's been a couple of weeks we've been playing here.
Yeah, but the question, Sheena, is that why pickleball? Could you take me back to the time where you first heard about this? Because everybody seems to be pickling these days. I'm trying to understand what is it about this sport that gets everybody?
I think you'll have to play it to know about it. But my friends started playing it first, and then they did invite me because I didn't know about it and I was a beginner. To get into their group, I started playing it, and now I think I'm more advanced than them. So I don't invite them now.
That's nice. This is a revenge story playing out. That's also massive FOMO because so it's just the amount of people playing that has got everybody in, right? Yeah. And Rohil, have you dragged in other family members yet? Because you come with your child, right?
I come with my husband, my child, my brother-in-law, all of us play. Yeah.
Literally you?
Yeah, I have. So I play with my school friends. My brother also plays, so it's a very nice activity. I think it's a chilled out sport. So you don't really need a lot of skills for it, and if you're just 4 people looking to play a sport, it's I think a really nice, good activity.
Also, you burn a lot of calories, and you don't know without any effort you were burning calories.
Yeah.
So it's good for fitness as well.
I think about pickleball and what makes it such an inviting sport is because people of all ages, people, beginners or people who've played other racket sports, everybody is invited and everybody feels like it's something that they can do. Rohil, is that how you feel about pickleball as well?
Yeah, so I used to play a lot of cricket, and when you look at turf cricket, you need 14 people to play. Yeah. But pickle, it's just 4 people. You're coming and playing with like young people, elderly people. So it's very, very chilled out and nice. I think that. Yeah.
I've played with a 70-year-old as well.
Oh wow!
Yeah, and it's so much fun.
Yeah.
There's in fact this uncle that plays over here, and we play with them also. So it's a full group now, and it's very nice.
It's a pickleball family, you have made so many friends here, so many friends. I know his brother as well, I've played with him, so we know everyone.
So safe to say pickleball is not a sport, it's like building communities and getting like-minded people together.
I think it will take over golf in a way where people will play pickleball for meetings. So I think
you have made that cricket comparison.
Yeah.
And cricket is special because cricket is in every tier of the country.
Yeah.
Do you see pickleball making that expansion one day?
I think so. I think everyone needs something new. So I've played cricket now for 20-25 years. But then I think everyone wants to play a new sport. So paddle, in fact, is a lot of fun, and even pickle now, I think. So when you're looking at a new sport, new people, in fact, so I think it's been quite a good change. Yeah.
You've brought in the paddle versus pickle analogy, so I'm going to pick you on that a little more. Okay, what's the difference? Why is the world divided between paddle and pickle?
I love both. But I think if you like more force and a little bit of more skill involved, paddle's the sport. But if you want to start something new, pickle's a very good, easy sport to start with. So start with pickle. If you think that you want to develop that kind of skill, play with a little bit of force, then shift to paddle eventually.
That's not bad advice. On that note, should we go hit some
Yeah,
balls?
let's give it a
Enough
try.
of talking, yeah?
Let's see if we're any good at this. Come on.
It's said to be quite a cool sport, cool enough for even uncles to pickle. Am I allowed to say that, or is that too much?
No. Perfectly fine.
Perfectly fine.
Yeah, we reached that stage where you can call us uncle.
So 65 and pickling, right? That's how it's going.
Yeah, that's right.
What's got you into pickling?
Well, we've been playing tennis for a number of years, and we heard about pickle and paddle during my trip to Canada very recently. So it got me excited. So when I came back, so we came to know it's in Panchsheel. So we booked and we started playing.
And you never stop.
Tennis is still my first love, but I still enjoy playing this game.
Nice.
So you both have played other sports. Tennis is the big
tennis
one.
is the
You both have played tennis together. Who had to convince who to come here and try out pickle?
So I think I convinced him to play pickle here. So because Sumer is my son. So he only told me that I should come here. So I took him also. So then we started playing.
And how long has it been?
4 months?
Yeah, about
4 months.
About 4 months.
Yeah.
About 4 months.
Yeah.
Okay. So people who are critiques of pickleball will say it's an old man's game because there's not much exercise. You just nicely, have a leisurely, sort of ping at the ball. So is that how you take it as well?
No, it's not the old game. No, it's not the old game.
Huh.
So young people can also play. Yeah. In any case.
I would put it differently.
Huh.
It's actually a young people's game.
Huh.
We are basically trying to inspire them to play. Because in this country, it's all social media, television, and that's all about it. Partying in the night. So you need to find time and come here and play.
That's a good one, yeah.
And how do you both compare it to other favorites of yours? So like golf, like tennis as you said a little earlier, maybe like cricket. Where does this fall? Have you been able to convince others to come out and play?
Yeah, of course. Because we played table tennis also. A lot of time in table tennis also. So I love table tennis as well as now pickle as well as paddle also. Now is an upcoming game now. So the next is pickle and paddle.
And no joint pains or anything after. I'm asking because tennis does me out. 1 hour of tennis and I'm done. This for you guys doesn't have that impact.
No, not at all.
But you need to be playing some sport actually. You need to be playing some sport. If you just come and say you want to play an hour or 2 hours and not have any, it's not possible.
Right.
You need to exercise, you need to free yourself before you play any sport. That is for sure.
Nice. Again, I just want to play devil's advocate here, okay? A lot of Puritans of the sport will say that pickleball is neither here nor there. It's not ping pong, it is not table tennis, it is not badminton, and it is certainly not tennis. So how do you answer people from that generation say that, hold on, what is this game after all?
I think there are 2-3 things to this. One is it's much smaller than tennis. So your fatigue level, your stress out is less.
Easier than tennis.
Table tennis is an indoor game. Some people don't like indoor games. So I think it combines the two and gives you an advantage of coming out and playing a game to your liking.
So we spoke with players, we spoke with people who've just started playing, some pro as well. But let's understand the business of pickleball a little bit with the person who founded Ruler here in Panchsheel. So Sumer, it's just been 4 months, and how big is the community just in 4 months?
I think the community is as big as 1,400, 1,500 people who've come to play at our facility in the last 4 months. And I would say 45 to 50% are people who have come back again to play. Yeah.
Nice. So the same question that I keep asking everyone, what ऐसा क्या है pickleball में जो किसी और sport में नहीं है? How is it that it has managed to make India from a sport watching nation to a sport playing nation?
Right. Couple of things, right? The modern age Indian consumer is changing and evolving, but our sports have never changed, right? They've still been the same sports. What pickleball brings is that new energy, fresh eyes thinking. With this new consumer who is buying new products, they go into a Blue Tokai coffee, then a Starbucks coffee, they're buying a startup product, then a large elephant brand. Similarly, pickleball comes in right at that challenger position, right? Where they want to try something new with some aspiration attached to it. And this modern age Indian consumer wants aspiration, right? They want to feel exclusive, they want to feel cool about things they're doing. And they want to be at the helm of the community and the social quotient in today's time and age.
Right.
So I think pickleball fixes all of that in with a very low learning curve, right? Makes it easier for a 60-year-old to play with a 20-year-old and have fun, right? So 2 hours of pickleball and you know how to play pickleball.
True, but the thing with any trend, and this is clearly one at the moment, is that it fades. Are you worried that this is something that will start not being so cool and sometimes something else will come and replace it?
I'm not so worried because it's a sport.
Yeah.
And when you look at the last 100 years, sports do not have so many changes in trends, right? So I'm not worried about that. What I'm worried about is oversupply, that worries me at times. Yeah, that's about it.
What do you mean by oversupply?
I see a lot of more facilities coming in and trying to replicate. So that worries me as a founder.
Okay. So the business might be challenged there. Take me quickly through the setup cost. One of the big things about Pickle is also the fact that it's easy to set up, takes lesser space, is a quick game, all of that. So it's a jhatpat, insta gratification that you get out of a sport. But is it equally lucrative for business?
Yes and no. It's a pure real estate game, right? Location. Anything, if you compromise on real estate and the location and the quality of real estate, then I wouldn't say it's lucrative, right? If it's at the right spot, where there's density and there's propensity to pay, then it can be lucrative.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So one thing as a founder that makes pickleball really cool, because that's your motto as I entered, I saw.
I think it enables everyone to be who they are, right? It does not accustom one individual to an isolation. It enables everyone. I think that's cool about it.
It's cool to be inclusive. I think that's our takeaway from this one. Yeah, thanks, man.
Thank you.
Absolutely fun. We love getting out of the studio and bringing you more stories that matter to you. Being in the pickle or not is your choice. So let's go back to the studio now and find out more about what's happening not just in Delhi but across the country and the globe on how the world is in a pickle with the game of pickleball.
That was such a fun story, and now as we promised to bring you more of a national aspect on this story, let's take it national. Let's go over to the co-founder of Go Rally. Go Rally is an organization that's based out of Bangalore. They're similar, they are a startup and they run multiple courts across the city of Bangalore. They also run an entire community for pickleball. Sam Sancheti is with us this morning to tell us all about Go Rally. Sam, good morning. Thank you for joining us here on the Breakfast Club. Sam, tell us a little bit about the community of Go Rally. A, how did you decide to get into this? Why did you, as someone who wanted to start a company, decide that pickleball is the thing you wanted to go after? And how do you build a pickleball community?
Yeah, firstly, good morning, both of you. Thanks for having us here. Pleasure. Look, Abhinav is my co-founder at Go Rally. We, I think, fairly recently, at the turn of the year, quit what you would call our corporate careers to start this up. So obviously I was at Bain, Visa, QMath, spent 9 years in the UK, just moved back recently 2 years ago. Abhinav himself is an ex-VC guy, spent time at Oxford and so on. So I think very much living that standard corporate professional life, but on the outside, both of us were the ultimate I would term us as recreational sports people. So I played 800-900 football games over the years, used to run teams and leagues back in the day. In the UK, played 6 years of club cricket with Middlesex in the Division 2, Division 3 pyramid. I was a tennis guy. So I think we had collected between the two of us across multiple sports and multiple geographies, India and the UK, a real sense of why is it that in the West, everyone has a sport. It's a way of life. You don't just play necessarily to become an elite player. You go to hang out with your friends, family, get fit in general. Whereas in India, it's still very, very low penetration, something like less than 0.4% of people play sport regularly. So that's our mission. That's what we set out to change. For me, I think it started growing up in the 90s in Jaipur. So I'm a 90s kid, classic middle class Jaipur, always had access to the best of everything, like let's say education, but yet did not have access to playing sport at a good level. So I would say tennis, football, these kinds of things were a little bit of a pipe dream then. Even cricket was that gully cricket, not your proper, leather ball, pads, etc. And I think that stayed with me. I always knew if I would start up in India, it would be in sport. So when we started looking at this space, as Sumer right before us mentioned, one of the pillars of our thesis was how do we grow the pie? How do we get a set of people, net new people who are not playing sport today into the mix?
Yeah.
And that's where Pickleball was staring at us in the face. It's super inclusive. It's super easy to start, but it can be very competitive. I'm sure we'll touch upon how intense it can be if you want it to be. And I think the other thing we realized is growing the pie, you need to do facilities. I think India still lacks good, welcoming, inclusive sports facilities where the loos are nice and the vibe is right and maybe there's a bit of music and there's plants and so on. And pickleball is very, very versatile that way. You can do it indoor, you can do it outdoors, you can put it on a rooftop, in a parking. So we put all that together 8 months ago. Here we are, right now run 4 facilities in Bangalore. We'll have 7 by the end of February. And something close to 5,000 people have played in our centers and tournaments over the past 6 months. You mentioned community. We've got a very, very engaged WhatsApp community today of around 2,000 people, which is just kind of like always on, separated by regions and so on. And I think that's been the most fruitful, enjoyable, satisfying part of building this, seeing how many people have come into the system and engaging with each other in a different way.
Sam, that's quite a pitch over there, and lovely to know that you've clearly found your ikigai, if one can call it that, and covering a full circle there. But one key takeaway from what you said and what I also noticed there in the court yesterday is that when it comes to pickleball, it's perhaps one sport that has turned India from being a sport watching nation to a sport playing nation, right? That was a huge struggle. We love to watch kabaddi, we love to watch cricket, we love a lot of other tennis and you name it, but we don't really go out to play. But the criticism with pickleball is that it's an elite man sport. It's not something that will penetrate to India 3, India 4, India 2 as well. Is that something that you see as a trend?
Yeah, I think today that's a fair. I think that's a fair comment. I think it would surprise most people to know how popular it is already in, let's say, the tier 2 cities in India. In fact, I come from Jaipur. Jaipur has had pickleball courts 6 years ago. Places in Rajasthan, places in Gujarat have multiple academies, multiple courts. And now that it's properly taken off, I kid you not, we get a call every week where someone's trying to start a court in Surat and Bhopal and Jabalpur and Indore, and I could just reel off a list of places. This is still year 1, year 2 of pickleball in India. I think if you go back to the core ingredients of can it scale in India 2, India 3 and beyond, it has all of the ingredients because a court costs you not more than 3 to 4 lakhs a court. It's very versatile. Schools will build it. I think you will see residential societies build it as part of their pitch when you try and move in as part of the clubhouse or whatever. So I don't know how long it will take, but it definitely has, the way we frame it is we see in 5 years, it has the potential to become India's number 2 or number 3 played recreational sport on the ground, which is very important for our sporting culture.
Sam, take us away from the numbers for a second now. Share with us an anecdote. Have you, in the last years of doing this, have you come across, someone surprising, for example, who's taken to pickle, or, maybe a group of people? Has that happened with the sport?
Oh yeah, so many, right? Like countless. I think one of the first things we did is actually test it out in my society. We set up like a temporary pickleball court on a basketball court that was existing, and we had 65-year-old people, straight away come and play. And it's not just that they came and tried. Like, we were at a point where after 3 hours, we're like, sir, we need to move the court out, so we'll have to close shop for today. But I think the other side of it, and this is also, very Bangalore, if I can say that, since we started our flagship center here in Indiranagar, people come up to me, and one guy the other day was saying, dude, do you know there are VC deals happening at your space? But there's also first dates happening at our space, right? So many people have said, can you do a pickleball and dating thing? There's a pickleball and dining society thing. So I think it's this sport, or this platform rather, which can lend itself to becoming whatever you want it to be. If you just want to have a bit of fun, socializing, play doubles for a long time, you can. If you want it to be super intense, a lot of the ex-tennis pros are in there. There's a lot of commentary around, oh, it's an old person sport, it's not that intense. Forbes did an article recently where they compared all of the racket sports, singles and doubles, and pickleball singles is right up there. And I kid you not, I challenge anyone to come and play with us for a singles game. Abhinav and I, when we play, we're on our haunches after 45 minutes. We're like, my God, that was a workout.
Okay, Sam, we have last 30 seconds and I have a very important question for you. Why is it called pickleball? What's the pickle?
Make your own story, but there are two versions. One is it was cobbled together actually in 1965, believe it or not, back in the US by 3 families that had a badminton court, had 2 TT paddles, and basically created a plastic ball for their kids to play. So it's a pickle of all these 3 sports. Version 2 is their dog was just called Pickles, so it's called pickleball. So
I
pick
like
your
that
own
more.
story.
We'll stick to that and we let people other make their own stories. From Tinder dates to VC deals, everything is being cracked on the pickleball court. So here's hoping to hear more and more of these stories. Thanks so much, Sam, for joining us. Okay, we're going to head into a quick break, but we hope that's given you enough initiative to maybe go out this weekend and give pickle a tickle. I wanted to say that once in this show, but let's go into a quick break. On the other side, a world for all. We're going to be shifting focus. We're going to be talking a little bit about how we can empower people with disabilities a little further. Today marks the International Day of People with Disabilities, and we're going to be amplifying the voices of people with disabilities by highlighting for you the few times we've had them on the show to talk a little bit about what India needs more of, and also where India has already made strides. We'll see you in just a few minutes.
I think he goes for full brutality. I think he will try to crush the rebel advance in whatever way that he can. The question will be whether or not he comes to the conclusion that he won't be able to, hence he's got to engage in some sort of political process. I think it's too early to tell that. I think that over the coming few days or so, we'll see how strong his reinforcements are actually going to be. And that will define how he moves forward from there. When it comes from the Russians, he's likely to get more than the Iranians, partly because I think the Israelis will try to strike any Iranian redeployment to Syria, less out of trying to help the rebels against Bashar al-Assad. Actually, they've made it very clear that they prefer Assad's regime to continue to survive, but more a concern that those sorts of redeployments could eventually threaten them. I think Russia will try hard. And the question will be, how much are they willing to do considering they have Ukraine to be concerned about, and of course they're now, concerned about Georgia. We wait and see. I think I'll be saying this a lot. The wait and see, I think, is quite important because I think people were very certain that they knew what was going on in Syria. They were very certain that the way forward, for example, was to normalize with the Assad regime, that he wasn't going anywhere, that, the revolutionary uprising was done and dusted. And then lo and behold, the last few days. So I think it's important for people to be humble, cautious. Personally, I think that there are a number of things to be concerned about as well, in terms of how the rebels engage on the ground with minority communities. But I couple that sense of caution with frankly a sense of hope that this could lead to a more positive political settlement in the medium to long term. But again, we have to wait and see.
بس شوف الخيمة هون عندك باسل شوف الخيام الله أكبر
What I do think is clear is that the idea that you could have a regime that is so brutal and so authoritarian simply continue to rule Syria without any consequence in terms of responses from the ground indefinitely, I think is farcical. And if we want a sustainable solution in Syria, then it has to take into account the legitimate aspirations of all the components of Syrian society to be able to govern themselves, have representative government, accountable government, as opposed to the continuation of this authoritarian system.
Welcome back. This is the Breakfast Club. Let's now take you to a look at the air quality in the entire region of the NCR. Yesterday evening, multiple reports pointing out that in the Delhi NCR regions, we're talking about Noida, Delhi, Gurgaon, air quality was actually slightly better than it's been in the last month. But does that trend remain today? Let's do a check-in with the real-time numbers. Sonal, on the wall.
All right, thanks for that. So basically, yesterday made headlines. Why? Because for the first time in almost 30 days, we saw AQI go to the poor category. It is quite poor as it suggests, but it's not hazardous. It is not very, very unhealthy. It is not very poor. It is in the poor category. This is decided how? Because of the 38 monitors that the station has in Delhi, 12 recorded very poor and 25 were in the poor category as well, which is sort of said to be satisfactory, so to say. Now, if you see that line graph on your screen, you will be able to tell how almost through the week we've had it over 300, but the past 2 days has been under 300 as well. But what it has not made an impact on are the GRAP 4 guidelines, which continue to be in place. And the Supreme Court is not budging from that. They're saying except flexibility in schools, these guidelines will stay. What caused these numbers to actually dip? It's said to be higher wind frequency and also sunlight, which has led to pollutants actually being flown away and not sticking around in the area. So that's what's causing the numbers to plummet just a tad bit. Let's look at how it's looking like this morning. As of this morning, the AQI currently in Delhi stands at 274, again under 300. That we've seen in the past couple of days or so. If you look at other places around,
You see Pusa Road again in the poor category over there. RK Puram as well. Rohini getting a little more severe. Shadra as well severe. Siri Fort also quite severe over there. Aurobindo Mark as well. But let's look at an overall picture and try and understand how Delhi NCR on the whole is looking like. This is the map graphic that we bring you every morning. It gives you a pop-up on how places are faring early this morning. One amongst the lowest, since we talk about the highest every day, let's look at the lowest places this morning is actually 183 over there, which is Aurobindo Mark at the moment. There is also Gurugram and other places, 179, etc. Under 200 for the first time that we are also seeing at this point. So peripheral of the National Capital Region is where we are seeing lower AQI levels, but inside of Delhi continues to be very, very unhealthy. Let's see where it goes next from here. Back to you, Toya.
Okay, now that we've given you that check-in, let's step away from the Delhi NCR region where we're in. Let's bring you a flavor of everything that's taking place across India if you're tuning in from anywhere else. And let's take a look at stories playing out in the rest of the world. First, this story is relevant everywhere in the country. The FSSAI has reclassified packaged drinking water and mineral water as a high-risk food category. Essentially what that means is that they're mandating stricter regulatory controls and annual facility inspections. Now, the move is effective immediately and it follows an order dated November 29th. Essentially now manufacturers will be required to undergo mandatory third-party food safety audits and comply with enhanced quality standards. The central license holders in this category will also now need to submit to annual inspections aimed at mitigating potential health risks associated with packaged water production.
All right, wedding bells are ringing for Shobhita and Naga Chaitanya. The highly anticipated wedding is just around the corner, scheduled to take place tomorrow on the 4th of December at the Annapurna Studios. Meanwhile, Shobhita did treat her fans with a sneak peek of the vibrant Peli Kutrum ceremony, where she shared pictures and looked absolutely stunning in those traditional outfits as well. A red and gold sari adorned with exquisite gold jewellery and a classic Telugu style botu. I hope I'm saying that right. The ceremony also featured tender moments, including Shobhita receiving blessings from elders and also the famous Haldi ceremony.
Okay, sharing, let's move on from that to a different story altogether, a tech story for a second. Shares of Intel jumped nearly 6% on Monday after the struggling chip maker CEO actually stepped down. The resignation of Chief Executive Pat Gelsinger, announced a day earlier, comes amid an ambitious and costly turnaround plan that he instituted, the results of which won't be known until next year. The shakeup also comes less than a week after the company received $7.9 billion in government subsidies for Gelsinger's very plan. Intel had for decades powered Silicon Valley's dominance in manufacturing the fastest and the smallest computer chips. It's a crown it lost very recently, remember, to the Taiwan Semiconductor, which makes chips for Intel rivals such as Nvidia.
December is here and we've got some Christmas cheer for you, this time from White House, where First Lady Jill Biden unveiled the White House's holiday decorations on Monday, with this year's theme being a season of peace and light. Biden thanked the volunteers from across the country who helped decorate the White House. As the Bidens prepare to depart from the White House next month, Jill Biden said, "It's been an honor of our lives to serve you and be of us family. May our nation be blessed with peace and light this holiday season." The White House expects nearly 1 lakh of people who visit the place during the holiday season.
And from the US to the UK, British Prime Minister Keir Starmer switched on the annual Christmas lights. This is outside 10 Downing Street on Monday, his first since becoming the Prime Minister of the UK. Starmer, along with his wife Victoria, were greeted by a choir outside their 10 Downing Street residence. Members of the band of the Scott Guards performed for them following this event.
Emmy-winning actress Kerry Washington received the 2,796th star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame on Monday. She was joined at the ceremony by two Hollywood powerhouse producers, Tyler Perry and Shonda Rhimes. Now, speaking at the podium, they said that her scandal scar over the course of Scandal, I watched her become a wife and a mother. I also watched her become a businesswoman and a producer and an icon. She does it all with determination and her grace, and she's joyful about it.
Okay, moving on from those stories now to a particularly special one. Today marks the International Day of Persons with Disabilities. It highlights the importance of inclusivity and accessibility in the health sector and in every space that we're in. A fun fact for you first. This is a particularly important one. It's actually not a fun fact and much more of an informational one. Did you know that 1 in 6 people worldwide live with a disability every single day? Yet this is a group that is severely underrepresented in leadership roles. They face barriers like discrimination, stigma, limited access to education and job opportunities. And studies have also shown that inclusive workplaces, and this is interesting, they actually have a 28% higher revenue and a 30% higher profit margin. So it's actually incredibly profitable to be inclusive. It's obviously time for us to tap into this in a deeper way, and we'll bring you more context on this entire story in just a second. Here at TBC, we've stepped in and had guests of this kind to discuss this issue multiple times here on the show.
That's right. So we'll take a look back at all the interesting stories that we've had and we've played out for you right here on the Breakfast Club when it comes to people with disability. You'll remember the Zomato delivery guy who featured on the program. One of the viewers actually saw him, offered him a job, and today he has a healthy household running which does not require him to be on his wheels all the time, and so many more. Here's a wrap. शहजाद, मुझे बताइए, आप जो डिलीवरी का काम करते हैं ज़ोमैटो के लिए, ये काफ़ी फिजिकली डिमांडिंग जॉब है. अगर आपको जो सुन रहे हैं हमारे व्यूअर्स कोई एक जॉब दे सकते जो लेस डिमांडिंग होती, तो वो क्या होती?
तो लगता है कि मैं जितने भी डाटा एंट्री या इंटरनेशनल प्रोसेस हैं जहाँ पर टेक्निकल सपोर्ट की रिक्वायरमेंट, लेकिन इंसान की एक्सपीरियंस और कैपेबिलिटी और कैपेसिटी नहीं देखते, इंसान का एक्सपीरियंस नहीं देखते, सिर्फ मेरे में एक वीकनेस देखते हैं.
So this is what Shehzad had said on Monday, and we are so happy. The TBC team is extremely happy to report today that Shehzad's appeal has been heard. Vikram Sahni, one of the viewers of TBC, when he saw Shehzad's story that day, he reached out to us, and he also reached out to Shehzad with a job offer, and now Shehzad has a desk job. Viewers, you have done this. We sincerely thank you for making Shehzad's day and his life a little better than how it was. This is the kind of impact we live and love seeing. Take a look at what Shehzad said after getting that offer.
Thank you CNN News 18 का मैं तहे दिल से धन्यवाद देता हूँ, थैंक यू कहता हूँ. और मुझे सानी सर के सांसद महोदय दिल्ली के, उनके रेफरेंस से इंदौर के सिमरन फीड्स प्राइवेट लिमिटेड में 15,000 रुपये की नौकरी मिले, जिनका मैं श्रेय CNN न्यूज़ 18 को देना चाहता हूँ. उनकी पूरी टीम को, उनके प्रयासों से मुझे ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा लोगों को दिखाया गया, जिसकी बदौलत में आज सिमरन फीड्स प्राइवेट लिमिटेड में मेरी नौकरी लग गई है. ये ऑफर लेटर है जिसमें 15,000 रुपये पर महीने की जॉब है. मैं तहे दिल से एक बार फिर CNN न्यूज़ 18 का धन्यवाद अदा करता हूँ.
If you had to give India a ranking of sorts, just tell us where it stands right now. When you look globally at different countries, how much they've made themselves accessible infrastructurally over the last few years, where does India stand?
So I think the glass is both half full and half empty in that sense. India, of course, has a long way to go when it comes to accessibility. I mean, if you go to Europe or the United States of America, you know, you can't even find a single Starbucks that does not really have a ramp, etc., because accessibility is such a strong mandate there. Having said that, in India, there have been some developments over the last few years. In 2015, the government announced the Accessible India campaign. In 2016, the Rights of Persons with Disabilities Act 2016 came up. These are laws that are very strong on paper. These actually mandate accessibility. today, according to law, every public infrastructure in this country has to be made accessible in that sense. The problem in India actually is more of implementation than really the laws on paper. And I think that is the big challenge that we really need to work on in the coming years.
Okay.
I see. Nipun, you've been somebody who's been working on this issue. You've been a spokesperson. You've even knocked the doors of Supreme Court several times for representation and all of it. But I want to understand this from you. On one hand, when you see such a massive sort of victory and medals coming in India's way, does it speak of the infrastructure on the whole that has developed as well?
Yes, in a way it does. I mean, in 2012, India had won just one medal in the Paralympics. I think we've come a long way from there. And I think what also happens when a country starts progressing in terms of medals in Paralympics is that there are role models that come up for people with disabilities. Today, if there's a young girl at home in a village, she will be told by her parents, that, Deepa Malik could do this, Sheetal Devi could do this, Mansi Joshi could do this. You can do this as well.
Yeah.
And I think that is something which is extremely important.
When you do try to advocate for change, and this is something you do across the country, what have you found? Are there groups of people that are very, very open to this idea? Who are those people? Are there certain regions that are more open to it? More organizations? Just tell us a little bit more about what your experience has been.
I think attitudes have slowly started changing. I mean, of course, in India, there is still a big social stigma around disability. Just a couple of months back, I was at a market in South Delhi where, somebody came up to me and asked, told me that it's really unfortunate that I'm a person with a disability, but he then went on to say that perhaps you've done some bad karma in your past life that is getting corrected with this disability. And if that wasn't enough, he actually asked me that, do you have a sibling? And I said, I have a younger brother. So he said, okay, I'm glad at least your parents have some hope if you have a younger brother who is not a person with a disability. So those challenges remain. But at the same time, I think a lot of awareness has started coming in. I mean, people like you in the media have started covering disability a lot more, There are more stories, there are more role models with persons with disabilities. We have a strong law that can be used as a weapon to create the kind of change that is required in that sense. There's a very active Department of Disability Affairs in the Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment today, which is talking a lot about disability in that sense as well.
So if you could just walk our audiences through what you think you brought in as the leader with all the team that was working underneath you. What was the change you brought about to para-athletes' lives?
What we did as a federation, we also became a little matured. Instead of just being a NGO which supports participation at international levels, we also started framing our administration into a proper sports federation which looked into raising funds, training programs, train the trainer programs. We also utilized our time of COVID, which came as a silver lining in the cloud. We educated our athletes for information technology. We had webinars which simplified the classifications and rules in Hindi language. Because most of the material is available in English and on the websites, and athletes really didn't know how to access it. So that is something we educated them. We also had mental training and science introduced.
But I want to talk about a slightly different aspect of the Paralympics, which is about identifying talent. I'm very curious to understand, how does it work? Because a lot of people do not have the knowledge. So do you as a committee go out on the hunt of these people, or they are approaching you? Where are we at in terms of identifying talent?
So we do have a regular system of having state competitions. From there the team are fielded into national competitions. And when you have state competition, we have, like I said, introduced junior, sub-junior. So even very junior level athletes have started coming in. Districts are supposed to have their committees, and districts then field the athletes into the state level competition, and from there the state level competitions, the athlete identified there come for the nationals. Now what difference have we made? We have started sending observers, experts, classifiers, even in the state body when state has the competition. Because there are only a handful of people who are educated in the classification. Of what we followed during my tenure and the team that we had, we focused a lot on retaining our talent, which we knew is going to sustain. So you see a lot of repeat medals and different disabilities, whether it is visual impairment, it is cerebral palsy, it is short stature, you have intellectual disability. I mean, amputees, you have talent from every part.
All right. With that, we're going to slip into another break. Coming up on the other side, Vikrant Massey has taken a break. What is that all about? A mysterious pause from acting, is it? What next for this beloved actor?
We'll see you in just a few minutes.
I think he goes for full brutality. I think he will try to crush the rebel advance in whatever way that he can. The question will be whether or not he comes to the conclusion that he won't be able to, hence he's got to engage in some sort of political process. I think it's too early to tell that. I think that over the coming few days or so, we'll see how strong his reinforcements are actually going to be. And that will define how he moves forward from there. When it comes from the Russians, he's likely to get more than the Iranians, partly because I think the Israelis will try to strike any Iranian redeployment to Syria, less out of trying to help the rebels against Bashar al-Assad. Actually, they've made it very clear that they prefer Assad's regime to continue to survive, but more a concern that those sorts of redeployments could eventually threaten them. I think Russia will try hard. And the question will be, how much are they willing to do, considering they have Ukraine to be concerned about, and of course they're now, concerned about Georgia. We wait and see. I think I'll be saying this a lot. The wait and see, I think, is quite important because I think people were very certain that they knew what was going on in Syria. They were very certain that the way forward, for example, was to normalize with the Assad regime, that he wasn't going anywhere, that the revolutionary uprising was done and dusted. And then lo and behold, the last few days. So I think it's important for people to be humble, cautious. Personally, I think that there are a number of things to be concerned about as well, in terms of how the rebels engage on the ground with minority communities. But I couple that sense of caution with frankly a sense of hope that this could lead to a more positive political settlement.
Welcome back to the Breakfast Club. Let's take you now to the news people can't stop talking about. It's news we came to know yesterday itself. It left us all a little shocked. Vikrant Massey, ever loved, took to his Instagram to announce that he would be taking a pause. Now, he's the actor who has come to be known for all of his heart-tugging, his understated performances over the years. Is he retiring from the industry or is it just a temporary pause?
well, only he knows what really is happening over there. We don't know that just yet. But what we do know is that we're going to miss Massey in whatever form. Is it a pause from social media, pause from movies? Well, we've got to wait to see what exactly happens. But he's somebody who transitioned sort of seamlessly from television to OTT to silver screen, and hits like Mirzapur, Hasina Dilruba, and of course the portrayal of country that country really resonated with, which was 12th Fail. Also of late, a controversial, sort of a release that came out, the Sabarmati report as well. That's what's got people talking. But here's a wrap on what could have happened behind the scenes.
Vikrant Massey, a celebrated actor admired by critics, cinephiles and box office audiences alike, has left the entertainment world stunned with his unexpected retirement announcement. Known for his gripping performances in recent hits like 12th Fail, Sector 36 and The Sabarmati Report, Vikrant has enjoyed a remarkable streak of success over the past few months. On December 2, he shared the news on social media, revealing plans to bid farewell to acting after his final project releases in 2025. In his heartfelt post, Vikrant expressed his desire to focus on his personal life, embracing his roles as a husband, father, and son, while also reinventing himself as an actor. Fans were quick to flood the comments section with disbelief and emotional reactions. But what could have led to this decision? While there were subtle hints, the announcement still came as a surprise. Earlier, Vikrant humorously hinted at retirement when Kareena Kapoor Khan called him a legend following his performance in 12th Fail. Kareena praised the film and its cast on Instagram. Vikrant responded, "Bas ab main retire ho sakta hoon. Thank you so much, ma'am. You have no idea what this means to me." Then again, during the promotions of the Sabarmati Report, Vikrant disclosed in an interview with Dainik Bhaskar that he had been receiving death threats targeting him and his infant son. He shared his anguish and lamented about the society we live in. From his television debut in Balika Vadhu to critically acclaimed performances in A Death in the Ganj, Mirzapur Made in Heaven, Vikrant Massey has carved a unique space for himself in the industry. And that's why his decision to step away from acting is quite shocking. What do you think about Vikrant's decision?
Lots of debate over whether it's really posing a hiatus of some kind. Some even saying it's a publicity stunt. Those are cynics is what I want to argue. But have we seen actors do this before, where they've sort of reached a peak? They're not, by any means at the end of the career, but at that time they say, let's take a step back, let's take a break.
Only maybe Amir Khan and the rest who said that I have now come to a point where I will only do one movie a year. So they also staggered their sort of approach towards movies a little bit. But not sure somebody else in India at least has taken a break. For mental health, lots of stars abroad have of course come out and spoken, and we are grateful for that. But let's take a break from that and bring you a quick update on what the markets are looking like this morning.
Right, let's take a look. This is a special section on financial markets powered by Money Control Pro, Money Control's premium destination for investing and business insights. First, an overview of the markets. GIF Nifty indicating a stable opening for Indian stock markets. Asian markets are rising in early morning trade today. Gold and crude oil prices are edging higher. This is ahead of key economic data and, of course, the continuing geopolitical crises that continue. US markets closed flat yesterday. They're awaiting job data.
Let's look at the sector in focus. Some of the key end markets of plastic lapware have been pointing towards strong demand ahead of the contract research and manufacturing industry that has seen a pickup thanks to biotech funding and pending legislation. This basically means about Biosecure Act as well in the USA. Now, as the supply chain of US biotech companies are getting decoupled from China, India is seeing as a strong beneficiary of this wave. You can log into Money Control Pro to find out more about the biotechnology industry, related areas and various other actionable insights on the markets. It is a premier destination for all the investing views and financial insights you will ever need, brought to you by Money Control. All right, with that, it's a wrap on today's edition. We did a lot of pickling, some pong, lots of chat about disability as well, and can't wait to hear your comments on what you had to say.
Right, let us know, and let us know if you actually go to a pickleball court in the next few days. You have us to thank. See you tomorrow. Goodbye.
I think he goes for full brutality. I think he will try to crush the rebel advance in whatever way that he can. The question will be whether or not he comes to the conclusion that he won't be able to, hence he's got to engage in some sort of political process. I think it's too early to tell that. I think that over the coming few days or so, we'll see how strong his reinforcements are actually going to be. And that will define how he moves forward from there. When it comes from the Russians, he's likely to get more than the Iranians, partly because I think the Israelis will try to strike any Iranian redeployment to Syria, less out of trying to help the rebels against Bashar al-Assad. Actually, they've made it very clear that they prefer Assad's regime to continue to survive, but more a concern that those sorts of redeployments could eventually threaten them. I think Russia will try hard. And the question will be, how much are they willing to do, considering they have Ukraine to be concerned about, and of course they're now, concerned about Georgia. We wait and see. I think I'll be saying this a lot. The wait and see, I think, is quite important because I think people were very certain that they knew what was going on in Syria. They were very certain that the way forward, for example, was to normalize with the Assad regime, that he wasn't going anywhere, that the revolutionary uprising was done and dusted. And then lo and behold, the last few days. So I think it's important for people to be humble, cautious. Personally, I think that there are a number of things to be concerned about as well, in terms of how the rebels engage on the ground with minority communities. But I couple that that sense of caution, with frankly a sense of hope that this could lead to a more positive political settlement in the medium to long term. But again, we have to wait and see.
بس شوف الخيمة هون عندك باسل شوف الخيام الله أكبر
What I do think is clear is that the idea that you could have a regime that is so brutal and so authoritarian simply continue to rule Syria without any consequence in terms of responses from the ground indefinitely, I think is farcical. And if we want to
Good morning, viewers. Hello and welcome to the Morning News Show, where we bring you the latest headlines and insightful stories to kickstart your day. I'm Queena Sharma and you are watching CNN News 18. First up, on top of this bulletin, our focus remains the unrest in Bangladesh, and we are getting some breaking inputs where even as the spate of anti-Hindu attacks continue in Bangladesh, Bangladesh media reports claim that a plea has been filed in Bangladesh High Court by a lawyer seeking for Indian channels to be banned in the country. So these are the latest inputs that we're tracking from the ground, where according to the reports that suggest a plea has been filed in Bangladesh High Court by a lawyer seeking for Indian channels to be banned in the country. Now joining us on the broadcast is our colleague Kamalika. A very good morning, Kamalika. What more details are we gathering on this plea that has been filed in Bangladeshi court, where they are demanding for ban on Indian media channels?
See, this is according to the Bangladeshi media. They have reported this. A Supreme Court lawyer yesterday has filed a writ petition with the High Court seeking its order on the government to ban airing of all the Indian television channels in Bangladesh. So the advocate Syed Shaheen Ara Laili, she has submitted the petition as a public interest litigation to the HC through her lawyer, and saying that the Indian TV channels are spreading propaganda against Bangladesh, leaving an adverse impact on the friendly relationship between the two countries and threat to the sovereignty of Bangladesh. Now, the point which has been raised by the Bangladeshi media and also the Bangladeshi spokesperson since last 2 days is that the Indian media is spreading propaganda. So, to stop that, according to them, they have filed this writ petition. There are questions to this. That the fact that Chinmay Prabhu is arrested is right. It's not that Chinmay Prabhu is free. Number two, the fact that Radharaman Das has claimed that Chinmay Prabhu's lawyer has been badly beaten up and he is in ICU. The photo is there in the tweet of Radharaman. The fact that so many people who are coming from Bangladesh, they are giving so many accounts of the horrific, of their horrific ordeal, of the things that are taking place there. So are all these things wrong? That is a big question which has been raised. Definitely the minorities are in threat in Bangladesh. There is no doubt about it, because people have come and they are speaking themselves that what has happened there. So this is something which is an area of concern. That Bangladesh, instead of taking certain steps, they are saying they are taking steps, they are investigating the matter. But instead of taking very strong steps against people who are doing this, these are certain things coming up in Bangladesh, that somebody is filing a writ petition demanding the ban of the Indian media out there.
Right, Kamalika, thank you so much for bringing in all those details. I'll request you to stay with us on the broadcast, as this development adds a new dimension and layer to the unrest that has been gripping the country. But now we're getting yet another breaking input on the same report, and Hindus across the globe are now uniting against the atrocities unfolding in Bangladesh. Now, the East Bengal Football Club, in solidarity with the minorities of Bangladesh, has now appealed for minority protection. Now, this comes after Tripura hotel owners announced a ban on Bangladeshi visitors. Well, these are the latest inputs that we are tracking from the ground, where As the situation in Bangladesh intensifies, solidarity is pouring in from across the globe. From the East Bengal Football Club appeal for minority protection to Tripura hotel owners banning Bangladeshi visitors. The ripple effects of these atrocities are being felt far and wide. Now updates are coming in thick and fast, and let's get straight to Kamalika, who's getting us all the latest updates on this. Kamalika, could moves like the Tripura ban and appeals from institutions like East Bengal FC put pressure on Bangladesh to address the minority rights here?
Definitely. See, here Tripura Hotel and Restaurant Association, they had a meeting yesterday, and after that they have come up with a statement. They have stated that it is India's theory of Atithi Dev Bhava. But the fact is, the way things are happening in Bangladesh, the way the Hindus are being targeted there, it is not now possible to actually serve the Bangladeshi guests, the Bangladeshi people who are coming from that side. So they have actually declared a ban that they will not allow any Bangladeshi people there. We have seen that also in Bengal, one hospital, one doctor, and there Tripura also one hospital, they have declared that they are not going to treat Bangladeshi patients. And let me remind you that there is a huge number of patients who come from Bangladesh. On the other hand, East Bengal Club is a very renowned club of India, football club, and very renowned club of Bengal. This is a club where most of these, the club was formed because of a protest against the racism, and these clubs generally originates that lot of people of this club, their ancestors are from Bangladesh, who fled from Bangladesh in 1947 and 1971. So they have come up with a very strong statement. They have even their supporters who hail from West Bengal and other parts of India, they are deeply concerned about the state of affairs in Bangladesh, that they have written such a rampant target of persecution of minorities in Bangladesh needs to stop. And they humbly request all competent authorities to kindly address the issue with utmost priority and do whatever is necessary to save, protect and give relief to our mothers, sisters and brothers. That's what is written in their statement. And West Bengal Club is a very, very famous club. It's a club where most of the people, their origin are from Bangladesh. So they have also come up with a very strong statement.
Right, Kamalika, I'll request you to once again stay with us on the broadcast as we are getting yet another breaking input which is also relevant to the Bangladesh unrest. Now, ISKCON, Kolkata's Vice President Radha Raman Das has now claimed that Hindu monk Chinmoy Prabhu, who is in custody at the moment, his lawyer was actually beaten up ahead of Prabhu's bail hearing. Now, this is a very shocking allegation which has come to fore from ISKCON, Kolkata's Vice President Radha Raman Das. Now, he is also claiming that the lawyer of Hindu monk Chinmoy Prabhu, currently in custody, was beaten up just ahead of Prabhu's crucial bail hearing. Now, is this a direct attack on justice, and what's the truth behind these alarming claims? Kamalika continues to stay with us on the broadcast to tell us more about the incident. Kamalika, this incident is raising serious questions about the safety of those who are trying to defend individuals in sensitive cases. What more details have emerged about the alleged attack?
Definitely, there is, the photo says it all. The photo that has been posted by Radha Raman Das is the photo of the lawyers of Chinmoy Prabhu. So last week he was beaten up very badly. That's what the claim of ISKCON is, ISKCON Radha Raman Das is. And today he has tweeted the photo stating that he is in ICU. His photo says it all, that his condition is really bad. Now what the Bangladeshi government, the statements which are coming, or the news which are coming from Bangladesh stating that there is a propaganda, what they have to say about this photo, that is a very big question. That these are the, this thing has happened and that's why this person is in ICU. And he happens to be the lawyer of Chinmoy Krishna Prabhu. We'll really have to see today. The bail hearing is there of Chinmoy Krishna Prabhu, whether he's almost, last 7 days he is in jail, what is his condition, whether he gets a bail or not. That we'll really have to see what the Bangladesh court directs.
Right, Kamalika, thank you so much for bringing all those details. We'll continue to track the story as the day progresses. But now we are getting yet another breaking input coming in from Bangladesh, where Bangladesh's foreign advisor Mohammad Tawhid Hussain today has said that Bangladesh wants to see a normal and friendly relationship protecting mutual interests with India. While responding to a question at a media briefing, advisor Tawhid said politicians often make such remarks on various topics, but it was not a right move for Mamata Banerjee. Now, I would like to see this as Mamata-like remarks. I don't understand why she has made such remarks. And earlier, the advisor has also briefed the foreign diplomats stationed in Dhaka at State Guest House Padma about the allegations of attacks on religious minorities. He's further gone and explained the government's position and described the situation on the ground. He further said, and I quote, "We are not saying that there are no such incidents of attacks on minorities, but those are isolated and happen more or less during all regimes." These are the latest inputs and reactions that we're tracking from the ground on Bangladesh. Well, updates are coming in thick and fast. Let's get straight to our reporter Siddhant. A very good morning, Siddhant. Well, we just read out the entire statement of Bangladesh Foreign Advisor Mohammad Tawhid Hussain, who is taking a pot shot at West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee. What more details are we gathering on this front?
Well, look, the situation is tensed in Bangladesh. There's no doubt about it. Now, in fact, the government, the Yunus government, is in a damage control mode, and it looks like that they want to, because there is increasing pressure mounting on the government of Bangladesh to make sure to act against the Islamist groups and to make sure that Hindus remain safe in Bangladesh. Because now it's not just India or Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi, but US President-elect Donald Trump, the Member of Parliaments from UK, Canada, Australia, all have been talking about the attacks on Hindus in Bangladesh. So the pressure is mounting on the government. So now what they're doing is that till day before yesterday, the government of Bangladesh was in a denial that no attacks on Hindus are taking place, and it's just a part of our disinformation campaign. But now they are saying that yes, there are some incidents which have taken place, but those incidents are isolated ones. And perhaps that is exactly what the government of Bangladesh is briefing the diplomats in Dhaka. In fact, there was a briefing which was done by foreign advisor Mohammad Tawhid, who also happens to be a career diplomat once and now retired, and now he is the foreign advisor. He briefed the foreign diplomats also that it has nothing to do with some Islamist group designing attacks against Hindu or perhaps state-sponsored attacks on Hindus. These are isolated attacks happening in various parts of Bangladesh. Perhaps that on those lines he briefed the foreign diplomats. Now, there is a lot of pressure on the Yunus government because, there are countries demanding the UN forces to be sent to Bangladesh. Also, many countries are saying that Yunus should step down because in case if he is unable to handle the law and order properly. So there is a lot of pressure on him. And now the government of Bangladesh cannot, give this argument that it is a work of a disinformation factory, because videos, footages, reports, eyewitnesses account all are available, in public domain. And since pressure is mounting on them, so there was a briefing which happened, and now in fact they say that they want to have a normal relations with India. We could expect a foreign secretary level talks with Bangladesh maybe in days to come. But for that also there needs to be some mutual ground and mutual understanding between the two countries. If attacks will continue this way, if minorities will be under attack, and every day we'll get to hear a priest getting arrested or minority getting attacked, perhaps it would be difficult for both countries to come on a same page. So unless both countries will come on the same page, we would not be able to see a foreign secretary level talk. So if today he has given signals that we want normal ties with India, perhaps it's kind of a messaging that he's doing for the government of India.
Right, Siddhant, thank you so much for bringing in all those details. Well, like you rightly pointed out, Bangladesh's foreign advisor Mohammad Tawheed Hussain is now emphasizing the country's desire for a normal and friendly relationship with India, while Chinmoy Das Prabhu's fate hangs in the balance as his case is heard in a Bangladesh court today, with the world closely watching for any signs of relief. Now, amidst this pressure continues to mount on the Bangladesh government to take firm action against Islamic groups and protect the country's Hindu minority. Now, across India, mass protests have ignited as Hindu organizations now demand stronger measures from Bangladesh to safeguard their own community. Suvendu Adhikari, the leader of opposition in West Bengal, has gone so far as to threaten an indefinite export embargo on Bangladesh if attacks on Hindus continue, while also demanding the release of a detained Hindu monk.
এটা বলুন কি হচ্ছে ওখানে? ওখানে একটা ধর্মীয় অনুষ্ঠান ছিল, চুপনগর হতে দেয়নি, ভাগবত অনুষ্ঠান ছিল, হতে দেয়নি। ওখান থেকে সব ভয় ভীতি দেখাইয়ে ওখান থেকে তাড়াই দিয়েছে সব। আপনাদের বাড়ি কোথায়? কলরা। কলরাতে। তো আপনাকে কি তাড়িয়ে দিয়েছে দেখে চলে আসছেন? কোথায় কোথায় যাচ্ছেন? ও এখন যাচ্ছি আমার ওই ভাগ্নের বাড়ি। তারপর কি করবেন? চলে আসবো, এসে ওইভাবেই থাকতে হবে। আমাকে তো সেরকম অর্থবিত্ত নাই যে আমরা এসে এখানে জায়গা জমি কিনে তাই বাস করি। ওইখানে কি অসুবিধাটা কেন, কি করছে ওরা? এই 5 তারিখে তো অনেক জায়গা ভাঙচুর করেছে, অনেক মা বোনের ইজ্জত নেছে, অত্যাচার করেছে। আপনাদের বলছে কিছু কোনো অনুষ্ঠান করতে পারবেন না, আর ওইখান থেকে তাড়িয়ে দিয়েছে। আর মানে কি মনে হচ্ছে যে কেন এরকম করছে ওরা? এখন আমি লিখ নেই তো, এখন বিএমপি জামাত সরকারের সব এসে গেছে না, এই জন্যই আমাদের আর ও জায়গা ঠাই নেই। ভয় লাগছে? ভয় তো লাগবে, মারধর করলে ভয় লাগবে না? আপনাকে কিছু বলেছে? আমাকে কি বলবে, আমরা তো বাড়ির ভিতরে থাকি, আমরা তো বাইরে বাজারঘাটে থাকি না। বাজারঘাটে থাকে পুরুষরা বলছে। পুরুষদের কি বলছে? পুরুষরাই তো এই সমস্ত হচ্ছে সবার। বরকে কিছু বলেছে না, ও পা ভেঙে 6 মাস বাড়ি ছিল, এই ভিসা নষ্ট হয়ে যাচ্ছে বলে তাই এখানে আসলাম। Reena Rani, she is saying that they were doing some program, some ISKCON program there, some religious program there. A group of people came there and they said they are not allowed to do such programs there. I'll just try to show you the border right now. Here is the Sanatanis Aikya Mancha. They have gathered this side, and here Suvendu Adhikari will come from some time from now, and he's going to actually going to set this balloon. On the other side is, you can see that strong security by BSF. They'll not, and that side, just 100 meters away, just 100 to 200 meters away is Bangladesh. We can see the Bangladesh people out there, and on the other side, in the border, is the Sanatanis Aikya. They are requesting them to open the border. That's what they are saying. And here they plan to Suvendu Adhikari will come, and he's going to set the balloons. आप ये बताइए कि क्या चाहते हैं आप लोग?
हम लोग इधर चाहता है बांग्लादेश में जो हिंदू का ऊपर बहुत अत्याचार कर रही है वो ठीक नहीं होगा, तो इधर जो हो रहा है इससे भी ज्यादा इधर होगा, क्योंकि इधर भी मेजॉरिटी मुस्लिम है।